Hi there and welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer. This video is a bit different, not a book review. In this video, I'll be handed a list of 12 books to read next year. 12 books I've not chosen. There will be around the type of books I like to read, but I'm not chosen these books, they're chosen for me. I got this idea from another channel called Pick Your Pop Culture Poison, and this video is presented by Coleridge Girl and Sir Chonk. Now, I like that video a lot. I like the idea a lot. I decided to take that idea and change it a little bit. Now, these books are around the same genres and themes I'd read anyway. So in this list, there shouldn't be any awful surprises for me. Maybe in another video, I'll get a list of books that will be totally out of my usual reading genres. Who knows? I might do that later on. But for now, I just want to continue reading on books that I think I'd like to read anyway. But again, in this list, I've not chosen them. They're chosen for me. Most of them will be from the library, I think. So just to see how I can get them from the library, to see how quickly I can read them. But it'll even out to be one book per month, so it shouldn't be that bad. Let's get on with the list of 12 books chosen for me to read next year. Now, where's that list? Okay, here's a list. I've not read this before. 12 books for me to read next year. Let's start with the first book now. As I've said, I've not seen this list before, so I have to read from the paper for this video. So excuse me for that. But let's start with the first book. The first book is The Cuckoo's Calling, Cormoran Strike #1 by Robert Galbraith, and the pseudonym for J.K. Rowling. A gripping detective novel introducing private investigator Cormoran Strike. Now, that's an unusual name for a character. I don't know if it's a character's name or an agency name. I'm not sure. Not sure how I'll go with that book with a character named like that. But apparently these books, some people say they're really good. Well, I've heard that anyway. So I'll start with that book. The second book is The #1 Ladies Detective Agency, written by Alexander McCall Smith. Now, I've read other books by him before, not this series, so it'll be interesting to see what I think of this series. I understand it's a very long-running series, so this is book 1 in the series, so it just means that after I read this book, I have to read all other books in the series, because I'm like that as a reader. So anyway, the short description of this book follows Precious as she uses her intuition and intelligence to solve various cases in Botswana. So, Alexander McCall Smith is okay for me as an author. Not my favourite author. I've read another series from him before, and I tried another series a while ago as well. Not always a hit for me as an author, but I think I've heard a lot of good things about this series, so let's see how that goes. The third book on this list is Still Life. Now, it's book 1 for Chief Investigator Armand Gamache, written by Louise Penny. The first book in a series featuring Chief Inspector Armand Gamache, or Gamache, not really sure, set in the quaint village of Three Pines. I don't know anything about this book, the series, or the author, but interested to see how this plays out for me next year. Book 4, The Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, written by Stieg Larsson. Now, I've read this book a while ago, and it's on this list because I don't think it's on Goodreads as me as being read, because I only started Goodreads about 2.5 years ago or so. So I read this book, I think, before that. But I do like this book. I've not read other books in this series, so I will reread this book. And then I'll read the other books in the series as well. Looking forward to this one, because I did enjoy it the first time, but interested to see what I think of it the second time. Book 5 is In the Woods, Dublin Murder Squad #1, written by Tana French. I've not read this series, I've not read the author before, not sure what to think about this, but it's a psychological mystery with a compelling detective protagonist set in Ireland. Now, I do like Ireland as a setting. There are other series set in Ireland I want to read, so I'll read this one first, then read other series as I go. Interested to see what I think about this because I like Ireland as a setting very much. Book 6 is The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie, Flavia de Luce #1, written by Alan Bradley. So it sounds like a cozy mystery to me, just with that title. So I do like cozy mysteries. A charming mystery featuring a young and precocious amateur sleuth, so very much a cozy mystery. I'm looking forward to this very much. I do like cozy mysteries, but not all cozy mysteries are a hit with me. Some are a middle range, some are a total miss. So I'll be interested to see what comes out in this book. Book 7, Case Histories, Jackson Brodie #1, written by Kate Atkinson. Now, I'm not sure if I've read Kate Atkinson before, not totally sure on that, but it says about this book, combines domestic drama and noir suspense with a private investigator at the helm. Not much to go on. There's a little bit of information there, mainly about the main character, but it does sound interesting. The title, Case Histories, I don't know if that means, cold case mysteries or what it means, but it does sound interesting. Book 8 is The Beekeeper's Apprentice. Now it's Mary Russell and Sherlock Holmes #1, written by Laurie R. King. Now that sounds interesting to me. I do like Sherlock Holmes. I plan to go back and read all the Sherlock Holmes stories, the original ones. I've read some more modern interpretations of Sherlock Holmes recently as well. I've enjoyed them. And this book says, an imaginative tale where a teenage girl becomes an apprentice to the famous Sherlock Holmes. So I'm guessing Mary Russell is the apprentice. That sounds interesting. I'd like to see what would happen then when Sherlock has an apprentice. How would that play out? And is John Watson in the stories? That interests me a lot. The next one is The Eyre Affair, and it's Thursday Next #1, written by Jasper Fforde. Now, I have read this a long time ago, I think. I've read Jasper Fforde before. I do plan to read all his books again, so this is a good choice on my list. Now, the reason this is on the list again, it's not on Goodreads, because I read Jasper Fforde, I think, many, many years ago before I used Goodreads. But I'm looking forward to this book a lot. And it says about it, a fantastical twist on crime fiction where literary detective Thursday Next solves crimes in a book world. So I do understand what this world is about. And if you've not read this before, basically it's about the detectives, the main characters, are in this kind of literary detective squad. And crimes happen with characters from books, and they can go into books, I think, in this world as well. So these books are very inventive, very imaginative. They are very intriguing and interesting. I do plan to read the whole series anyway, so I'm looking forward to this book a lot. The next one is Postmortem, Kay Scarpetta #1, written by Patricia Cornwell. Now I've read most of her books in the past. It's on this list again because it's not on Goodreads. So some of these books are on my list. I've read them before, but they are books I plan to read again. And I do plan to go through all that series again anyway. So I'm looking forward to that book a lot. So basically, it's about introducing Dr. Kay Scarpetta, a medical examiner in Virginia, who becomes involved in a perplexing case involving a serial killer who leaves few clues behind. So what I find in a lot of these series is that the first few books are the most engaging, and sometimes those series get a bit over the top, go a bit off the rails later on. I think that happened in this series, but I do plan to read them all again anyway. I do want to do videos on them and explore when it happens, when they start going a bit off the rails. I think it's interesting to see, just to see if the authors can pull it back a bit as well. But I do like this book when I read it the first time. I want to read it again. Book 11 in this list is Raven Black, and it's Shetland Island #1, written by Anne Cleeves. I've not read the author before, I don't think. I've not read this book or this series, so it does sound interesting. And it says about this book, it's the first book in the Shetland Islands series set in the remote Scottish Shetland Islands. That's very interesting to me. I like that setting a lot. That whole setting about these islands, where things can happen in a small landscape or small footprint, interests me a lot. It follows Detective Jimmy Perez as he investigates a murder that reopens old wounds in the close-knit community. So it tells me straight away, small setting, small village setting, characters with all these relationships going on. They know each other's business, all this small footprint setting as well. A great setting, I think, in the Shetland Islands. I'm looking forward to this a lot. And I might even put this up higher in the list, who knows, because I just like the idea of that book a lot. And the last book in the list is The Dry, written by Jane Harper. This debut novel introduces federal agent Aaron Falk, who returns to his drought-stricken hometown to attend a tragic funeral. His return opens a decades-old wound, the unsolved death of a teenage girl. As Falk probes deeper into the mysteries of the town and its residents, he must face the community that rejected him years ago. That sounds very interesting, and I think it's the first in a series, I'm not sure. I think Jane Harper's written more books as well, maybe with the same character. Not totally sure on that. It is set in Australia, which is interesting, I think in the Outback, so I'm looking forward to that book as well. So in this list, there are books I've read before, but I do plan to reread those books anyway. And the reason they're there is because on Goodreads, I haven't listed books for years and years, and I've read for many, many years. And I've only used Goodreads for the last about 3 years, I think, 3 and a bit years. So that's the reason why some books I read before then are on this list. But all the books, as I said, are in genres and themes that I enjoy. And out of a list of 12, it's pretty good that only I think about 3 books I've read before. But all those 3 books I plan to read again. I did enjoy them anyway. So it'll be interesting to see what I think of them. And every book on this list, I've not done a video before on my channel, not done a book review before on my channel at all. So interested to see how those videos go and how my reviews are on these books. So looking at this list, it seems that almost every book is the first book in a series. I don't know if that means that I'll have future favorite series to deal with. I don't know if it means I'll have series where I won't like the books at all, but I have to keep reading them because I want to keep reading the series. I'm not sure. Opens up many possibilities and many dangers as well as a reader, because when you're reading a series, when you just want to read every book in the series, you have to get every book and read them in order. It's very dangerous for a reader like me. It just means that if I can't get them from the library, I can't get them from anywhere else, like a secondhand bookstore or a charity book sale, I'm going to have to buy them. This means I'm going to have to buy many more books in the future. So anyway, let's see how that goes. 12 books for next year averages out to be 1 book a month. I'm lucky that I was able to put criteria on to say that books have to be in genres and themes I like to read anyway. I'd hate to see if I just say free for all, choose any book you want. That'd be quite dangerous, I think. But I think this is going to be a good list to go through next year. So if any of these books interest you, stay tuned for those book reviews that are popping up in the next 12 months next year. On my channel, I review books of all different genres. Check out my channel and subscribe. On the screen now is a link to another video for a book I'm sure you'll enjoy.